Tonight, we gently step into the past, to a world long forgotten, where life moved slower and nights were quieter. Take a deep breath and let your mind gently drift into the past. Tonight, we explore 300 quiet moments from history. Centuries ago, life followed rhythms we have long since forgotten. Long ago, people lived close to the earth's gentle embrace. Villages lay beneath wide, open skies that stretched far and still. The sun warmed early mornings with its tender, golden hands. Fields of grain swayed slowly in the balmy breezes. Song. Hands tilled the soft soil with care and quiet intention. Children's laughter drifted faintly through the amber light. Their feet pattered lightly on well-worn paths between humble homes. Smoke curled gently upward from earthen ovens filled with warmth. Women gathered herbs with calm motions in the dew-touched grass. The day hummed softly with the rustle of leafy shadows. Families shared simple meals by the faint glow of dusk. Stews simmered slowly, their scents weaving through peaceful rooms. Blankets of woven thread offered tender comfort at twilight. The stars blinked steadily above, watching over still dreams. Lanterns flickered with soft light along narrow, winding streets. Stone wells offered fresh water, their cycles steady and sure. Old men spoke in measured tones by firelight's mellow gleam. The breeze carried whispers of the sea to sleepy ears. A fishing boat rocked gently under a sky brushed with dusk. In gardens, bees moved steadily from bloom to bloom. Fields rested quietly under the moon's serene silver gaze. Lamps inside small huts glowed faintly like captured heartbeats. The scent of baked bread wove through narrow, peaceful alleys. Birds settled softly in the branches, humming lullabies low. The rhythm of daily life folded into night's tender silence. Morning began with the faint chime of village bells softly ringing. Hands reached for pottery cups thick with fragrant, warm tea. The market stirred slowly as vendors arranged their humble goods. Clay pots, woven baskets, and fresh fruits smiled beneath linen covers. Elders exchanged quiet smiles while threading stories through the air. Sunlight spilled gently onto cobblestones, warming every slow step. Merchants called softly, their voices blending like peaceful melodies. The aroma of herbs floated steadily from small, tender gardens. A child's curious gaze followed a butterfly's languid dance. Napping dogs lay stretched beneath welcoming, cool shade trees. At midday, shadows shifted softly across sun-warmed stone walls. Women mended clothes with steady fingers and calm concentration. Men carried woven bundles of firewood to flickering hearths. The air shimmered faintly with the scent of fresh linen. Small fires crackled with tender warmth as evening slowly deepened. Families gathered calmly around firelight, sharing stories without haste. Eyes grew heavy as the sky dyed itself in muted hues. Faint songs rose and fell like waves in the gentle night. Soft footsteps brushed quietly over damp, mossy ground outside. Crickets sang their mellow tunes from lush, shadowed gardens. The village slept beneath a blanket of serene, starry skies. Now, let us turn to the dim corridors of an ancient palace. Massive stone pillars stood steady, bathed in warm amber light. Silken curtains hung motionless, tinted with the day's last glow. A servant moved with hushed steps along stone-carved pathways. In quiet rooms, clay lamps flickered with a steady, mellow flame. The scent of oil and precious spices mingled, still and calm. Tapestries embroidered with gentle colors swayed faintly in soft drafts. A queen sat quietly, her thoughts wrapped in tranquil reflection. Gardens beyond the palace walls unfolded in tender green waves. Bud-covered branches nodded calmly under the mild touch of sunlight. Birds dipped and rose in the cool, faintly fragrant morning air. The quiet ripple of a fountain added a steady, soothing sound. Workers tended vines with calm diligence, fingers brushing leaves softly. Fruit hung heavy, glowing warmly in the midday, dappled light. Bakers stoked their ovens, kneading dough with slow, steady motions. The scent of honey and figs filled small chambers with sweetness. Couriers moved gently, carrying tenderly wrapped messages through shaded halls. A child's laughter bubbled quietly from a distant garden corner. At twilight, the palace exhaled in mellow, fading light. Lanterns were lit, casting faint glows on cool stone floors. The hush of night gathered like a comfortable blanket all around. Softly, the palace's pulse slowed to a steady, peaceful rhythm. Let us now drift toward the quiet shores of a small coastal town. Fishermen's boats rocked gently against the calm embrace of the bay. Nets were mended quietly on weathered docks, fingers moving with ease. Salt breeze mingled with the faint scent of sun-warmed sand. Seagulls called faintly as they glided over shimmering, still waters. Morning light painted soft pink hues across sleepy tiled rooftops. Children chased crabs with steady steps along the tender wet sand. Women wove fishing lines with patient, steady hands near cozy fires. The market filled slowly with quiet chatter and mellow scents. Baskets brimmed with olives, plump grapes, and tender-smelling herbs. Steady footsteps crossed the harbor as merchants arranged their stalls. The sea murmured gently against stones, its voice calm and low. Fishing families shared quiet meals beneath small, open shelters. Soft waves lapped against boats as twilight drew its faded curtains. Lanterns were lit carefully, their glow faint and welcoming on the shore. The village hummed softly, with the gentle pulse of evening calm. Fires crackled with tender heat, while quiet voices mingled in the dusk.
Stars began to twinkle, their light steady and serene over the bay.
A fisherman's son watched the waves with calm, thoughtful eyes. The world held its breath in this tender, hushed moment by the sea. Now, we move gently to the warmth of a baker's morning. Ovens glowed steadily, sending out warm scents through narrow, quiet streets. Flour-dusted, calm hands kneading dough under soft morning light. Bread rose slowly in darkened rooms, wrapped in warm linen cloths. Soft laughter and quiet greetings drifted through peaceful kitchen spaces. Loaves were placed gently on wooden shelves weathered by time. The warmth of the hearth spread tenderly throughout the small bakery. Dew clung quietly to window panes, reflecting steady amber glows inside. Slow footsteps carried baskets filled with fresh fruit and fragrant herbs. Neighbors greeted each other with gentle smiles and calm voices. Morning stretched lazily, bathed in a tender, peaceful light. The scent of honey and yeast blended with faint notes of cinnamon. Bakers worked with steady, patient rhythm under soft beams of sun. The clink of ceramic cups mingled with soft murmurs of thanks. Each loaf was a quiet offering to the day's steady beat. Hands wiped flour-dusted surfaces with calm, familiar motions. Outside, the village slowly awoke beneath an endless, pale sky. Birdsong wove through alleys narrow and still, with gentle melody. Each moment settled softly, like gentle snowflakes on the ground. Evening would bring warmth again, but for now, morning rested tenderly. Let us now drift gently into the busy calm of a morning market. Stalls lined the peaceful street, coated in warm hues and soft shadows. Vendors arranged fruits, spices, and fabrics with steady, thoughtful care. The faint sound of quiet barter floated through the sunlit air. Crates held vibrant vegetables, steady in their calm, orderly rows. Flutes and lean goat's cheese nestled beneath velvet cloths and twine. Silent cats curled beside baskets, their breaths slow and even. Fresh flowers spilled faintly fragrant notes among steady, orderly piles. Hands exchanged coins thoughtfully beneath awnings shaded from the sun. The chatter of neighbors blended with the hushed murmur of commerce. Children's soft footsteps wandered past sun-dappled corners and warm stones. The whole market breathed steadily in the bright, mellow morning. Sunlight filtered gently through woven fabric, painting quiet shapes below. A gentle breeze stirred the edges of colorful awnings and soft cloths. Later, the street would grow still again under the fading sun. For now, the lively calm of daily trade wove a peaceful spell. We pause here, amid baskets of produce and slow, steady rhythms. Now, drifting gently toward early evening in a tranquil farming village. The thatched roofs glowed warmly beneath a mellow, descending sun. Smoke curled faintly from small hearths, carrying tender scents of home. Farmers returned along dusty paths, their steps steady and measured. Their hands bore the faint marks of earth, soft and worn. Fields rested in calm rows, touched by shadows lengthening slowly. A mother's voice hummed low beside the wooden doorframe. Chickens clucked quietly near woven pens, nesting in cozy stillness. Small children's whispers mingled with the rustle of cooling leaves. The scent of freshly baked bread wove tenderly through narrow lanes. Lanterns began to kindle, casting warm circles on smooth walls. Elderly neighbors sat on worn benches, sharing stories in low tones. A dog's gentle bark punctuated the serene hush of evening. The well offered a steady drip, like a lullaby for the village. Light faded softly, draping the landscape in serene twilight blues. Now, the only sound was the wind's mild passage through tall grasses. Morning's bright energy had softened into a calm, steady hush. The village breathed calmly, wrapped in the warm arms of dusk. We walk next into a small courtyard where families gather quietly. The fire glowed faintly at the center, radiating a tender warmth. Hands pulled careful threads through thick cloth, creating simple garments. The aroma of herbs hung lightly in the cool, settling air. Children's laughter, subdued and mellow, bubbled like a gentle stream. An old tune drifted softly from a wooden flute held steadily. These moments moved with a calm, almost invisible rhythm of care. Soft blankets were laid on smooth stone, inviting rest and ease. The sky deepened to a tender indigo, sprinkled faintly with stars. Even the wind seemed hushed here, wrapping everything in stillness. Quiet smiles passed between faces illuminated by the fire's glow. We glide now toward the tranquil banks of a slow, meandering river. Waters mirrored the fading light, steady and clear like polished glass. Fishermen's boats rested calmly, tethered to ancient wooden posts. A heron stood still, its reflection a delicate shadow on the water. Ripples spread faintly from a fish breaking the serene surface. Reeds whispered gently as the breeze danced through their slender stems. Along the riverbank, families gathered with simple meals in woven baskets. The taste of fresh fruit and soft bread mingled with the cool air. A child's curious hand traced the smooth edges of cool stones. Nearby, a woman bent quietly, gathering herbs in a woven pouch. The sky folded into dusk, colors melting into soft shades of gray. Every breath taken felt calm, as if time slowed itself here. A lantern's faint glow bobbed along the water, steady and slow. We move smoothly now to the gentle life of an ancient orchard. Trees stood in neat rows, branches heavy with ripe, mellow fruit. Bees hummed a steady hum among the soft blossoms hanging faintly. Fingers plucked peaches, their skins warm under a steady, golden light. The scent of apples mixed with the faint earthiness of fallen leaves. A slow footstep crunched gently on the mellow, leaf-strewn dirt. Children lay quietly beneath gnarled branches, their breaths soft and even. Fruit baskets sat patiently in the shade beside rough wooden tables. A pair of old hands tied bunches of herbs with tender care. The orchard seemed to breathe steadily in the warm late afternoon. Cloud shadows drifted lazily over the peaceful sunlit ground. We now drift gently to a humble pottery workshop in a quiet town. Soft clay rested cool beneath steady, skilled hands shaping gentle curves. Wheels turned slowly, spinning pots with a calm, mesmerizing motion. Dust particles floated faintly in bright sunlight, streaming through high windows. Finished vessels lined the shelves, their rounded shapes echoing stillness. A low whistle accompanied the rhythmic tapping of tools on soft clay. The scent of damp earth mingled with faint wood smoke near the door. A young apprentice watched quietly, learning steady movements from the master. Glazes glistened faintly on rounded edges, hues of warm earth and water. Outside, a gentle wind rustled the leaves of a nearby olive tree. The workshop's quiet routine carried on in calm, tender harmony. Now we float gently to a seaside village where salt scents the breeze. Fishermen mended nets with slow, steady care on weathered wooden piers. Small boats swayed calmly under soft ropes, bobbing in hushed waters. The cries of gulls faded into the gentle hum of breaking waves. Seashells scattered on the sandy shore, warm and smooth in the sun. Children traced quiet patterns in the sand with careful, carefree fingers. Women exchanged whispered stories beneath linen sunshades, fluttering faintly. The tang of briny air mixed with the soft scent of fresh herbs. At dusk, lamps in small homes glowed warmly against a fading sky. Fishermen's wives prepared simple dinners with fresh fish and garden vegetables. Evening salt breezes cooled sun-warmed stones and thatched roofs alike. Crickets began their steady serenade as night wrapped the village in peace. Next, we drift softly toward a forest village nestled in tall pines. Sunlight filtered dimly through dense branches, casting mottled amber light. The forest floor was tender underfoot, cushioned with moss and fallen leaves. Smoke from small fires rose slowly, curling among the trunks like quiet ribbons. Families gathered in timber homes, their wooden walls glowing faintly warm. A grandmother's hushed song drifted gently through open doorways and windows. The scent of pine and earth mingled softly with baked nuts and berries. Children's soft footsteps stirred leaves as they explored quietly through woods. Evening settled with a slow, steady calm over the shaded village paths. Dogs lay curled by fire pits, breathing slow and steady in the warmth. In this still world, time whispered gently amongst roots and bark. We glide tenderly now to a desert oasis, a peaceful refuge among sands. Palm trees swayed lightly, casting slim shadows on sun-baked soil below. A faint stream trickled, its steady murmur a calm song to weary travelers. Villagers gathered near water's edge, their faces serene and content. Soft mats spread beneath the shade, offering quiet places for rest. Dates and figs were shared tenderly, their sweetness a warm comfort. The sun dipped slowly, painting the sky in mellow hues of rose. Dusk brought a cool balm, easing the day's warm hold on the land. Small fires flickered, their light steady against broad tents of woven cloth. A gentle trade of goods and stories unfolded beneath the evening's hush. The oasis breathed its calm into every heart settled quietly there. Now we drift gently toward a quiet lane in a bustling ancient city. Shops displayed pottery and cloth, arranged thoughtfully under canvas shades. A woman carefully twisted herbs into fragrant bundles for passing neighbors. Streets hummed with steady footsteps of those moving between home and market. The scent of freshly ground grain mingled softly with fragrant spices nearby. Children paused briefly to admire colorful birds perched on sunlit rooftops. Stone fountains trickled faint water, a tender presence amid cobblestones. Men and women exchanged soft greetings while carrying baskets gently balanced. At twilight, lamps began to glow, casting a peaceful circle on stone. Music drifted low and steady from a distant house, a mellow hum. Conversations faded as night wrapped its serene blanket over the city. We glide forward into the intimate warmth of a family's evening meal. A fire crackled gently in the hearth, its amber light steady and warm. The table bore simple dishes: lentils, bread, olives, and fresh garden herbs. Exchanges were tender, soft words shared with care and slow kindness. The youngest child rested quietly, eyes heavy with the calm weight of dusk. Outside, cicadas whispered steady lullabies as stars emerged inch by inch. The family's home was a haven of steady comfort and gentle routine. We now drift toward a quiet temple garden, nestled within tall stone walls. Pathways wound softly among fragrant flowers and calm, still pools. Priests moved with tender steps, tending incense and meditating in soft silence. The faint glow of candlelight shimmered tenderly on carved altars. The scent of jasmine mingled with faint notes of sandalwood. Visitors came quietly to leave small offerings, each gesture calm and slow. Leaves rustled faintly in the night breeze, carrying peace through the temple grounds. Steps echoed softly on smooth stone, a steady rhythm like breathing slow. The garden seemed to hold its breath, steeped in serene watchfulness. We now drift along gentle river waves toward a village of weavers. Looms clacked softly, weaving threads into patterns with steady, sure hands. Colors blended tenderly, dyed with herbs and flowers picked at dawn. Women sang low rhythms, their voices melding with sounds of steady craft. Cloths dried slowly on lines, fluttering faintly in a cool wind. Children's laughter was hushed, a gentle melody amid the calm work. In the evening, woven wraps were shared around shoulders, soft and warm. The day's work settled into peaceful satisfaction, hushed and complete. Now we move softly through the cool shade of a bamboo grove. Tall, stalks swayed steady, creating faint rustles like whispered lullabies. Light filtered in narrow beams, melting softly on moist earth below. A quiet well sat nestled, its cool water clear and calm. Villagers paused there to fill clay jugs with gentle care and thought. A passing deer moved quietly, blending with the mellow shadows. The simplicity of this place offered a steady refuge from the wider world. Small meals were shared beneath woven mats, the air filled with tender scents. We drift next to a quiet hillside where farmers tend olive groves. Branches bent gently beneath small silver-green fruit swaying in mild breezes. Harvesters worked with slow, deliberate movements, their hands steady and sure. Sunset painted golden hues across knobby trunks and soft, dusty paths. The faint hum of bees blended with calm calls of distant birds. Baskets filled gradually, the rhythm of gathering a soothing, steady flow. At day's end, water was shared to clean calloused hands and satisfied faces. The hill cradled an old stone house where smoke drifted steadily skyward. Here, life moved tenderly in harmony with the land's quiet pulse. Next, we float toward a simple bakery where warm aromas rise. Ovens glowed softly, stones heated through the calm hours before dawn. Dough rose steadily beneath cloths, patiently waiting its turn in the heat. Bakers worked with tender focus, shaping loaves with careful, rhythmic hands. The smell of baking bread mingled faintly with honey and toasted grains. Early morning visitors greeted the day with soft smiles and easy talk. Sunlight spilled in gentle beams, dust motes drifting through open doorways. The steady turning of the oven wheel was a soothing, repeated sound. Outside, a sparrow's faint call added its voice to the peaceful morn. We sway now toward a quiet vineyard resting on rolling hills. Rows of grapevines stretched in steady lines beneath a calm, endless sky. Hands picked clusters slowly, savoring the faint sweetness each held. The earth beneath was warm and dry, soft dust rising with every step. At tents nearby, crushed grapes were gathered with gentle pressure and steady care. The scent of ripe fruit filled the cool evening air tenderly. A cat prowled silently between stone walls, her paws pressing softly down. Sunset wrapped the hills in hues of mellow lavender and gold. We now drift toward a peaceful courtyard where scholars read and write. Scrolls lay on wide tables, their edges curling in calm patience. Ink pots glistened faintly beside steady hands tracing slow, deliberate letters. The scent of parchment mingled softly with faint cedar and sandalwood. Around them, the rhythm of quiet breathing and soft scratching filled the room. Outside, olive trees cast cool, steady shadows over worn stone steps. Evening deepened slowly as thought and words moved steadily together. We now wade gently into the soft waters of an ancient bathhouse. Steam rose warmly, veiling faces in tender mists and gentle light. The scent of oils and herbs lingered softly amid stone walls. People moved with hushed calm between warm pools and shaded alcoves. Voices were low, conversations slow and steady, like ripples on water. Mosaic floors glimmered faintly beneath a calm orange glow. Around fountains, quiet reflections settled softly into the evening air. We float from here to the gentle bustle of a pottery market. Clay pots sat waiting patiently upon wooden tables, painted softly in earth tones. Vendors spoke softly, inviting neighbors to share the calm craft's beauty. The sun warmed each piece with steady light, glowing mellow and bright. A child's hand reached carefully to touch a smooth, round vessel. The air carried faint scents of baked earth and sun-dried herbs. As afternoon deepened peacefully, so did the smiles exchanged between friends. We drift now to a humble weaving cottage beside a clear spring. Water trickled gently, a steady hum behind steady hands working threads. A faint breeze stirred hanging cloths, making delicate patterns dance beside stone walls. The scent of dye and fresh water mingled quietly with soft laughter. A loom sang softly as fibers merged into steady, thoughtful patterns. Outside, wildflowers nodded gently, bathing in calm sunlight and soft shade. Now we move toward a quiet threshing floor at the day's end. Bundles of grain lay in still piles beneath fading amber skies. Workers moved patiently, their feet steady on the cool, hard earth. The rhythm of flails echoed low, a gentle, repeated calling. Dust rose softly in the tender late light, settling like calm snow. Around this place, families gathered quietly, sharing small meals and stories. The air held a mellow sweetness from crushed stalks and warm sun. We now glide toward a quiet shrine where quiet prayers are given. Incense smoke curled patiently toward pale, steady beams of morning light. Petals lay scattered gently on stone, soft colors resting in calm pools. Whispers blended with steady chants, filling the space with tender sound. A calm watcher sat nearby, careful and still, beneath a fragile tree. The scent of warm earth and fading flowers mingled faintly in the air. We drift to a serene bay where fishermen's nets dry slowly in sunlight. Nets hung in large loops, their threads stretched and softened by steady breeze. The smell of sea mixed with warm, sun-baked rope and gentle salt. A child sorted shells carefully, tracing smooth edges in quiet focus. Small boats rested on sand, their hulls steady and weathered by time. The waves lapped tenderly, soothing the bay's calm embrace. We move now to a village square where lanterns glow warmly at dusk. Stone benches held quiet figures wrapped in soft shawls, their breath calm. A faint murmur of gentle talk drifted through the mellow evening air. We watch as night's steady calm settles over rooftops and narrow lanes. We now drift toward a soft morning in a farming field scattered with dew. Each blade glistened faintly, cool and steady in the early light. Two women bent quietly, gathering wild herbs with slow, tender fingers. Their soft steps left gentle impressions in the damp earth. Bird songs floated thinly through a pale sky, awakening to steady day. Grasshoppers stirred lightly beneath the tender sway of tall, still stalks. Across the field, a horse nuzzled calmly at a woven basket of oats. We move next into the warm kitchen of a humble stone farmhouse. Steam rose gradually from a kettle, settling on a low, steady fire. Breads baked slowly in the thick oven, filling the room with warmth. A mother hummed a calm tune while kneading dough with practiced hands. A cat purred softly from a small sunny patch near the hearth. Light filtered through a narrow window, painting faint dust motes yellow. Now the day transitions toward twilight near slow-moving river reeds. Dragonflies skimmed the smooth surface, their wings catching steady sunlight. The air smelled faintly of fresh earth and blooming water lilies. Fishermen gathered nets in quiet acceptance of the day's ebb and flow. Toward dusk, a single lantern bobbed gently over tranquil waters. We now drift into the calm heartbeat of a nighttime village festival. Wooden stalls glowed warmly with candles, their light steady and welcoming. Soft music played on flutes and lyres, the melody calm and winding. Families moved slowly among tents, sharing simple foods and gentle laughter. The scent of spiced stew mingled faintly with the cool night air. Children chased fireflies, their movements quiet and tender beneath the stars. All around, lantern light flickered with steady, measured grace. Our next steps lead us into the intimate calm of a child's bedroom. A small bed lay neatly made with woven blankets, soft and warm. A lullaby hummed low, weaving through shadows cast by moonlight soft. Toys rested quietly in wooden boxes, their shapes softened by night. Outside, the whisper of leaves stirred against windows in hushed patterns.
Slow, even breathing filled the stillness like a gentle, steady wave.
Now we transition gently to an early morning in a mountain village. Mist clung softly to stone houses nestled among steady fir trees. Smoke drifted tenderly from chimneys, mingling with the faint scent of pine. Villagers moved quietly along paths lined with moss and small wildflowers. Breakfast aromas of porridge and fresh berries rose slowly into crisp air. The peaceful hum of morning prayers echoed faintly through narrow alleyways. Children wandered calmly, their footsteps muffled on dew-covered ground. The mountains held their breath, wrapped in the serene stillness of dawn. Continuing now, we drift toward humble brick ovens where food is prepared. Slow-cooked stews bubbled faintly, filling rooms with warm, steady scents. Hands shaped soft dough into neat rounds, placing them gently to bake. The kitchen's calm rhythm was a careful dance of patience and warmth. Later, families gathered around tables under mellow amber lamps. The comfort of shared meals wrapped around them like a quiet hug. Soft voices murmured beneath a canopy of creeping ivy and fading light. Moving now, we wander to the calm shores of a Mediterranean fishing cove. Small boats bobbed gently against docks, their colors bright but hushed. Fishermen's wives prepared fish with steady hands, tending fire and salt. The sea breeze carried faint smells of thyme and sun-warmed stones. Children played softly in sand, their laughter a gentle undertone to waves. As evening fell, lanterns glittered on rippling water like stars caught low. The cove rested, bathed in tender light and soothing, steady silence. Now we drift toward soft hills where shepherds tend flocks under quiet skies. Woolly sheep grazed calmly on lush grass, their breaths slow and even. Shepherds walked slowly, crooks tapping softly on stone paths. Cloud shadows moved steadily across the rolling land's peaceful expanse. A dog lay resting beneath a tree, ears twitching gently now and then. The scent of fresh hay mixed with cool earth and sweet wildflowers. In a nearby cottage, spinning wheels turned soft yarn in quiet rhythm. The sunset painted the hills with warm hues fading into still twilight. We now glide softly to the warm embrace of a quiet vineyard harvest. Hands plucked grapes slowly, their fingers steady in the mellow September light. Baskets filled steadily beneath vines heavy with ripened fruit. Laughter was hushed, smiles tender as neighbors shared this gentle labor. Sunlight traced fading shadows on old stone walls where wine would rest. Evening brought cool air scented faintly with crushed grapes and dry leaves. Fireflies flickered gently, their light steady in the cooling dusk. We move now to a small library where scrolls and books rest patiently. Faint dust floated faintly in beams of soft daylight onto wooden shelves. Readers sat quietly, turning pages with slow, careful motions. The air was thick with calm. A tender stillness filled every corner. Ink and parchment mingled their scent, a nuanced perfume of ages. Soft sighs and the faint scratch of pens wrapped the room in peace. Outside, a gentle breeze rustled leaves, adding to the mellow chorus. Drifting now, we visit a tranquil courtyard, where monks walk slow and steady. The scent of incense lingers faintly, weaving through cloistered stone walls. Steps fall softly on smooth flagstones, measured and calm as breathing. Deep shadows mingle with warm candlelight in peaceful alcoves and niches. Prayerful silence carries the weight of quiet devotion and steady hope. The low murmur of chants floats gently beneath open, arching skies. Now we move toward a calm kitchen garden where herbs and vegetables grow. Tender shoots reach steadily upward toward the soft caress of the sun. Leaves glisten faintly with morning dew, the air full of subtle fragrance. Hands move slowly, weeding and gathering in thoughtful, deliberate care. A watering can tips gently, sprinkle by sprinkle, over thirsty earth. The garden thrives quietly, a small world of steady life and growth. We drift next to a humble carpenter's workshop, filled with mellow light. Wood shavings lie softly on stone floors, curling gently at edges. Tools are laid in order, each one resting after tender use. Hands plan and measure, working with steady patience to shape smooth beams. The scent of pine and cedar fades gently into the warm air. Outside, birds call softly from ancient trees, their songs calm and steady. Later, crafted objects rest quietly, ready for homes warm with quiet life. We glide toward a quiet mountain stream where villagers gather to wash clothes. Water flows clear and cool, caressing smooth stones in steady, joyous rhythms. Women kneel patiently beside the banks, scrubbing gently with worn wooden paddles. Clothes spread softly on sunlit rocks, drying slowly under steady blue skies. Laughter drifts lightly, humming through the woods like the gentle current. The forest canopy filters sunlight, dappling the clearing in warm patterns. Now we drift toward the tender bustle of a village bakery at dawn. Early sparks crackled in ovens, filling the air with warm, glowing scent. Dough rose with steady patience, hands folded and shaped it with love. Flames cast neat shadows on walls where flour lay softly scattered. A cat looked on quietly from a sunny window ledge, eyes half closed. Through open doors came the faint hum of waking streets and gentle greetings. We move now toward a peaceful rice paddy, water shimmering in calm light. Rows of stalks stood in quiet patterns, reflected in glassy, shallow pools. Farmers moved slowly through the water, steady-footed and sure. Hands tended each shoot with care, planting hope in the soft mud. Dragonflies hovered, their wings steady in the hot, still air. Clouds drifted lazily above, casting moving shadows on the pale earth. As day softened, so did the hum of life within this serene field. Now we drift softly toward an evening tea ceremony in a sunlit room. Fingers move with careful grace, preparing cups with steady, tender motions. The steam rises faintly, carrying warm, comforting scents of leaves and water. Silence fills the space, calm and full, like a held breath. Guests sit gently, their eyes calm and attentive to steady ritual. The room glows softly with fading daylight through papered screens. A soothing peace settles lightly over the gathering, like dusk over earth. We now drift gently toward a small village where bookbinders work. Leather and thread rest patiently on worn tables, ready for steady hands. Pages are folded carefully, each crease made with slow, certain purpose. Tools tap soft beats against wood, crafting quiet stories in tender rhythm. Light streams lazily through open windows, warming quiet faces and fingers. Books stacked neatly wait for gentle journeys to hands eager with still curiosity. Outside, the gentle wash of a river adds to the calm recital. Our path now leads along soft sands near a tranquil lakeside at sunrise. Water laps steady rhythms, cool mist rising gently as dawn unfolds. Fishermen prepare simple boats quietly, their motions steady like the lake's breath. Birds wake in soft choruses, their calls a tender greeting to new light. A woman gathers water in a clay jar, moving with quiet grace. Nearby, a boy skips stones gently over the polished glass surface. Herbs and flowers scent the air with calm, familiar notes of earth. We move next toward a village weaving loom, gently dismissed at day's close. Threads lie loose, colors mingling softly in twilight's mellow embrace. Hands fold finished cloth carefully, setting it aside to rest till morning. The air holds a soft warmth, fading slowly as night embraces the workshop. Cicadas begin their low, steady song, wrapping the dusk in tender sound. The village itself seems to breathe in rhythm with this calming symphony. Our journey flows next toward a slow river where women gather in tender conversation. Water brushes calmly against smooth stones, carrying soft voices in gentle waves. Baskets rest on grassy banks, filled with fruits and freshly woven mats. The scent of wildflowers mingles with fresh earth and cool, steady water. Sunlight flickers faintly through swaying branches overhead, painting dappled patterns below. Laughter rises softly like a breeze, mingling with steady ripples around their feet. We drift now toward a quiet room where lantern light flickers beside open books. Eyes read slowly, thoughts wandering softly with the unfolding words, steady flow. The smell of candle wax and old paper blends with quiet nighttime stillness. Outside, the murmuring wind whispers through trees heavy with late bloom scents. Slow minutes pass, like gentle waves, carrying the calmness deeper into night. Now, we softly move toward a tiny farmstead nestled among rolling hills. Fields stretch quietly in neat, patchworked patterns beneath mellow afternoon sun. A farmer tills earth steadily, turning soil with slow, even breaths. Chickens peck softly around the stable, their feathers warm and ruffled. Vines climb gently along fence posts, heavy with ripe fruit waiting to be picked. The simple rhythm of life here sings a mellow, comforting song of earth. We drift gently toward a candlelit room where a potter shapes tender clay. The wheel turns steadily beneath skilled fingers, shaping forms warm and rounded. The scent of wet earth hangs soft in the calm, steady air. Finished pots rest quietly on shelves, their surfaces smooth and glowing in candlelight. The potter pauses, hands resting, eyes glinting with quiet pride and gentle calm. Outside, the night deepens quietly, wrapped in steady stars and soft breezes. Our path flows now toward a still garden where water trickles slowly from stone. Moss cushions soft green mounds beneath shaded trees, where shadows linger tenderly. A small bird bath fills with fresh water, a calm oasis in quiet earth. Petals float slowly on the gentle current, drifting like faint whispers of peace. The garden holds the steady heartbeats of nature's quiet, mellow embrace. We now drift to a morning bakery courtyard filled with tender light and warm smells. Bakers move softly, turning dough and lighting fires with a steady rhythm. The scent of warm bread and sweet honey drifts through open archways. Neighbors exchange calm smiles, their moments woven gently into this mellow dawn. Sunlight streams through tiled roofs, casting bright patches on worn stone floors. A rolling pin hums its soft, familiar tune in steady hands. Next, we float toward a modest smithy, where tools and gentle sparks greet the day. Soft metal sings quietly under steady hammers, shaping iron with tender care. Warmth radiates slowly from the glowing forge, a steady heart of quiet industry. The smith's face glistens faintly under the glow, calm and focused. Outside, dust settles gently as small birds flutter quietly among scattered stones. Toward evening, the forge's fire dims softly, the day's work done with care. Now, we drift toward a tranquil village at dusk, where lamps glow softly. Windows frame scenes of families gathered, voices low and steady with evening calm. The scent of wood smoke and warm earth floats gently through narrow, still streets. A dog rests near a small fountain, breathing slow and even beneath the sky. The village settles into the tender hush that comes with fading light and time. Our journey now leads us to the gentle dawn on a rolling farmland. Mist drapes softly over groves and fields, veiling the earth in tender white. Farmhands move quietly along hedgerows, their work paced with humble care. The scent of fresh hay and turned soil invites sleepy breaths of calm. Sunlight begins to peek through waking leaves, painting gold on dew-coated grass. Birds greet the day with soft, steady calls in the crisp, cool air. We drift gently now toward a small kitchen, filled with morning chores and warmth. Baskets brim with fresh eggs, herbs, and ripened fruit from the garden. A kettle sings faintly on the hearth, steam rising in thin, steady wisps. A woman stirs a pot slowly, her movements rhythmic and calm. Sunlight falls warmly across terracotta pots lining the windowsill. Outside, soft breezes carry the faint chatter of neighbors greeting dawn. We now float toward an orchard's nook where old trees stand in tender watch. Their gnarled branches hold soft moss as shadows stretch slowly beneath their shade. Apples rest quietly on mossy ground, kissed by sun and time's soft hand. A couple sits nearby, hands intertwined lightly in a steady, peaceful embrace. The air hums with gentle life, leaves rustling faintly in a calm breeze. The orchard breathes patiently as sunlight fades into evening's tender glow. Next, we move gently toward a slow, winding path cutting through amber fields. Tall grasses sway steadily in a faint, warm wind under a mellow sky. Wildflowers nod softly along the edges, their petals fluttering in quiet rhythm. A lone traveler passes, steps measured, carrying a small bundle in steady hands. Time seems to pause here, wrapped in the fuzzy warmth of fading light. Now, we drift toward the comforting quiet of a small wooden chapel. Candles flicker faint and steady on smooth stone altars beneath painted arches. Soft chants echo low through hallowed spaces, filled with calm reverence. The scent of old wood and soft incense wraps all in gentle embrace. Outside, the hush of twilight deepens, folding the chapel in still serenity. We glide now toward a peaceful fishery where nets rest gently on sand. Fishermen share soft stories as fires flicker steadily beneath a deepening sky. Blankets are wrapped carefully around shoulders, offering warmth against night's cool. The sea whispers tenderly, steady and calm beneath the steady sweep of stars. Children play softly on the shore, their laughter a quiet song of the coast. We move now toward a sunlit courtyard where fruit trees bloom quietly in spring. Petals scatter on worn stone, drifting slow like mellow notes in warm air. A gardener tends new shoots, hands steady as they coax life from earth. The scent of blossoms fills each corner with serene tenderness and hope. Birds swoop and circle, their wings steady as they trace clear skies. Evening nears softly, wrapping the courtyard in a fading, gentle embrace. We drift gently toward a quiet home where evening meals are shared calmly. Warm stews and fragrant breads fill the air with peaceful, steady comfort. Family members speak softly, voices low and tender beneath the dim light. Children listen, wide-eyed but calm, as stories tell of quiet days past. Outside, nightfall spreads slowly, the world held in a soft lullaby. Now, we glide toward a slow river bend, where water reflects fading stars. Fishermen pack nets with measured care, preparing for the coming dawn. The air is cool and still, punctuated only by faint, steady ripples. A dog waits patiently by a small boat, breath soft against the night. Moss creeps steadily across stones, holding place in timeless, tender patience. We drift now toward the soft glow of an amber-lit room where artisans work. Threads cross slowly under nimble fingers, weaving fabrics rich with gentle colors. The scent of dyed wool mingles with warm sunlight and steady concentration. Outside, soft wind carries the rustle of dried leaves in calm patterns. Each cloth is crafted with quiet love and thoughtful care. Evening draws close, wrapping all with soft, steady tranquility. And here, our gentle journey flows seamlessly onward. We now turn toward the simple morning in an ancient village. Soft light spills gently over clay rooftops and stone walls. A woman rises quietly, brushing hair with steady, tender motions. The heart's faint warmth welcomes the new day's calm. She kneads dough with practiced hands, feeling steady comfort beneath. Outside, birds sing low melodies into the cool, peaceful air. The village awakens slowly as footsteps gently wander along dusty paths. Smoke curls hesitantly from chimneys, speaking of breakfast soon to come. Neighbors exchange soft greetings, voices hushed like whispering leaves. Children stretch lazily, their eyes adjusting to the mellow dawn. A man tends goats with cautious steps across dew-kissed fields. The earth feels cool beneath bare feet in the early light. A basket swings softly from a woman's steady arm, filled with figs. In the distance, trees sway with subtle grace, shadows leaning long. The sound of water trickles faintly from a nearby well. A pot simmers quietly on the fire, releasing tender scents. Windows open to reveal homes bathed in still, golden warmth. We sense the day's slow unfolding without rush or demand. The village pulses with the calm rhythm of simple tasks. Hands pass gently over pots and tools, crafting steady routines. The market square breathes softly, waiting for soft footsteps to arrive. We move gently toward the warmth of a baker's morning. Oven doors open to release mellow, fresh bread odors. Flour dust hangs faintly in the bright air, settling with ease. The baker's hands shape loaves with measured, loving care. Sunlight filters through wooden beams, casting calm stripes on stone floors. A child watches with quiet curiosity as dough rises and folds. Nearby, baskets of olives gleam like dark, serene jewels. Locals gather softly, voices blending like a muted lullaby. Clay jars rest cool and faintly damp on wooden shelves. Smoke from herbs drying above the door drifts in tender spirals. The baker wipes hands on a linen cloth, embracing steady routine. Outside, cats lounge along walls warmed by the early sun. We drift now toward the deeper quiet of a tranquil orchard. Branches laden with fruit still hang heavy in gentle balance. A farmer listens to the hum of bees drifting calmly near. Fruit falls softly on grass, cushioned with delicate moss and leaves. The breeze whispers faint secrets through rows of apple and pear. Sunlight settles hazily on grass, turning dewdrops to tiny jewels. Hands brush over rough bark with solid, peaceful reassurance. In baskets, berries nestle warm with their earth-quenched sweetness. A wooden ladder leans quietly against a noble fig tree. Nearby, a well-worn stone path bends gently toward a shaded grove. The faint buzz of day insects mingles with bird songs, low and mellow. Time feels tender here, measured only by the sun's steady arc. We now move gently to a small fishing village by the shore. Tide pools shimmer faintly under a serene, cloud-spotted sky. Fishermen prepare nets with hushed patience and flowing motions. Boats rock softly in calm water, tied with weathered rope. Children build shapes with wet sand, laughter barely above the breeze. Salt air mingles with warm sun, a delicate coastal aroma. Laundry dries slowly on a line stretched between wooden posts. Seagulls call softly overhead, circling in still, lazy circles. Shells glint faintly in the shallow sand, embracing slow waves. Old hands mend nets with knots tied in steady rhythm. The harbor fills with faint murmurs of gentle conversation. Fishing tools rest quietly, waiting for the cool dawn to call them. A cat hunts lightly near a boat's hull, steps measured and tender. We glide now into a serene temple courtyard at dawn. Stone walls cradle the hushed chants that float on warm air. Flowers bloom quietly in beds outlined with smooth, cool stones. A monk sweeps courtyard leaves with slow, deliberate strokes. Sunlight falls hazily between ancient columns, casting gentle shadows. Incense curls by a small statue, scent tender and faint. Doves coo softly from perches among delicate branches. The breeze stirs silk robes with a still, steady lull. Hands fold slowly, resting in prayer without urgency or strain. The garden's water gently ripples in a shallow stone basin. A bell sounds low and mellow, signaling calm meditation time. Soft footsteps pad along gravel paths between bamboo and moss. Leaves shimmer faintly in pale morning light and gentle wind. Peace holds the courtyard, steady as the unfolding day. We drift now toward the tender bustle of a riverside mill. Water turns the wheel with a constant, quiet pulse. Grain flows steadily through wooden channels carved with care. The miller lifts steady arms to catch the falling flour. Dust dances faintly in the sunbeams slanting through small windows. Birds pause nearby, watching with calm, attentive eyes. Families gather outside, chatting softly about the day ahead. Cooking fires flicker warmly near riverbanks, cooking fish wrapped in leaves. Clothes dry slowly on bushes, tinged with the faint scent of river. A small child splashes carefully in the shallow, cool edges. The wheel creaks gently, its motion a steady lullaby. Stepping stones cross the rippling, clear water, wet and cool to touch. We lean into this gentle flow, the rhythm of peaceful labor. Turning now to the cottage where evening warmth begins to gather. The fire crackles quietly beneath a sturdy iron pot. Fat drops of honey drip slowly into a wooden bowl. Bread rests cooling on a battered table, crust golden and calm. A cat curls tightly by the hearth, breathing even, slow. Windows fog faintly with the day's last tender warmth. A mother rocks a baby softly, whispering ancient lullabies. Outside, crickets begin a faint, steady chorus from darkened fields. Lanterns glow softly, casting mellow light over worn stone floors. The smell of herbs drying lingers in the cool, steady air. A dog's breathing is slow and calm on a woven mat. The family shares a humble meal, voices low and tender. Night settles steadily, wrapping all in a warm, silent embrace. We now glide into the peaceful life of a quiet scribe. Ink pools steady on parchment, waiting for gentle strokes. Fingers move slowly, tracing letters with calm, deliberate care. The scent of old paper fills the cool, hushed chamber. Sunlight filters faintly through woven curtains, casting mellow shapes. A quill rests softly on the desk between measured thoughts. Outside, wind stirs leaves in steady rhythmic dance. A cat curls atop stacks of scrolls, serene and still. Pens soak quietly in water, ready for whispered stories. A scribe's breath moves slow, steady, in time with the pen. The room holds silence, like a tender, familiar friend. Dust floats lazily, catching light in tiny, swirling clouds. We move now toward a farmer's gentle evening routine. Fields glow faintly under the calm, setting sun. Water channels reflect warm colors, steady and peaceful. Hands gather vegetables with soft care from earth's embrace. Crows settle low in distant trees, resting after their day. A fire flickers outside a low, thatched roof cottage. Clothes are hung to dry on a slow-moving breeze. The smell of fresh earth mixes with cooling evening air. A lantern swings gently in the hand of a returning child. The pond nearby mirrors soft stars as dusk deepens. A quiet dog watches as people settle for the night. We now drift into the calm spaces of a pastoral retreat. A shepherd hums softly as sheep rest in green shade. The sound of wool brushing slows as animals close eyes. Clouds move steadily, casting calm shadows across gentle hills. The grass bends faintly in a lazy afternoon breeze. Hands comb wool with patient strokes, smoothing fibers with care. A wooden staff rests lightly beside a sleeping figure. The warmth of the sun spreads softly across slanting ground. Nearby, a fire crackles lightly, used for a quiet meal. Footsteps tap softly along the narrow, winding livestock paths. A village dog slowly curls near a rustic wooden gate. We float now toward a candlelit room where merchants trade. Coins move slowly between steady hands, counted with thoughtful calm. Spices lie in small piles, their scents mingling gently in air. Baskets brimming with fruit glow warmly in soft lamplight. Voices are low, blending into a steady, tender murmur. Leather goods wait patiently, polished and ready for new owners. The merchant's eyes reflect calm consideration and slow calculation. Outside, cool night wraps the town in a hushed embrace. Lantern light glows faintly through wooden shutters and carved doors. We drift toward the care tenderly given in ancient homes. An elder tells stories with soft voice and kind eyes. Children listen quietly, wrapped in blankets drawn close to warmth. The scent of burning wood rises gently in evening air. Hands smooth a child's hair, calm as falling snow. A small garden outside blooms faintly with evening dew. Stars begin to twinkle softly, keeping watch above silent roofs. The night deepens steadily, folding the world in quiet calm. We now glide softly to the gentle rhythms of a quiet forge. Metal sings faintly under steady hammer, sparks like distant stars. The blacksmith works with slow, steady heart, feeling each strike. Coal glows warmly beneath the anvil's echoing kiss. Soot dusts the air, settling in tender, whispering patterns. Tools rest patiently beside glowing embers and cooling iron. Hands pause to wipe sweat with a worn, steady cloth. Outside, night falls in calm waves, muffling distant village life. The forge holds warmth softly, a small island in the dark. We drift now to the hush of a riverside home at dusk. Fishing nets hang gently to dry in the faint breeze. A woman hums quietly as she mends worn fabric pieces. Candles flicker softly on simple wooden tables and shelves. The faint sound of water moves slowly past open windows. A dog's breath comes steady beside woven rugs near the fire. Families share low, comfortable words under tender lantern light. The night's calm settles slowly, wrapping each soul in peace. We move now toward a quiet pottery workshop at day's end. Clay holds warm traces of earth and water's gentle embrace. Fingers press with care, shaping vessels for daily use. Shelves are lined with pots, cups, and bowls still drying. Soft dust floats peacefully in shafts of dimming sunlight. The potter pauses, admiring slow curves and steady forms. A gentle wind stirs dried herbs hung from wooden beams. Bird songs fade as evening draws a faint hush over all. The pottery wheel slows, coming to a tender stop. We drift now toward a lonely lighthouse poised on the shore. Waves lap gently beneath solid stone walls and watchful eyes. The keeper moves with steady purpose, tending the gentle flame. Steps echo softly on spiral stairs, slow and even. Sea air carries faint salt and wildflower scents alike. Lanterns glow warmly, casting mellow light on smooth wooden floors. Outside, seabirds settle on rocks, kissed by a tender tide. The night deepens with calm certainty and peaceful watch. We move now to a scholar's small study filled with scrolls. Quills rest softly beside inkpots as candlelight flickers low. Pages turn slowly under gentle fingers, full of thoughtful care. The scent of old parchment mingles with fading daylight. The scholar's breath is steady, eyes tracing words with quiet skill. Outside, wind murmurs faint stories through waving elm branches. A cat lounges in a sunbeam left behind by late afternoon. Dust motes dance with grace in calm, glowing light. The day's last whispers settle among books and quiet thoughts. We drift now to the gentle clatter of a ceramic tile workshop. Tiles stack slowly, patterns emerging in soft colors and shapes. Hands move with careful patience, smoothing edges and applying glaze. Sunlight falls faintly on low tables covered with quiet work. The scent of earth and minerals warms the small room. Quiet laughter bubbles softly as friends share gentle moments side by side. Buckets of water rest cool near hands, reflecting calm faces. Outside, vines creep steadily up sturdy stone walls. A faint breeze carries distant music and the whisper of trees. The workshop holds peace as the day settles tenderly. We move gently to a quiet morning in a river valley. Mist lifts softly from slow-moving waters and blanketed fields. Fish glide silently beneath ripples, caught in still reflection. Farmhands gather near wooden boats, their voices low and steady. A woman collects herbs with practiced ease among damp grasses. The scent of mud and grass rises warmly with the sun. Cattle graze calmly, drowsing in soft patches of shaded green. Leaves rustle faintly where sleepy birds nest in high branches. The day unfolds with the slow certainty of nature's breath. We drift now toward the plain where farmers harvest golden grain. Hands move through stalks with deliberate care, steady and tender. The sky stretches wide and calm, painted with faint clouds. Baskets fill slowly with wheat, heavy with the earth's gift. A child watches quietly, holding a small sheaf close. Dust rises softly with each careful step across the dry ground. The air holds the gentle scent of hay and warm soil. Dinner fires glow faintly in houses, scattered like starry dots. We move now to the quiet hum of a blacksmith's home. Wood embers crackle gently in a kitchen hearth's warm glow. A mother tends a simmering stew, stirring with patient hands. Her child plays softly near stacks of polished tools. The air is fragrant with herbs hung to dry above the fire. Outside, trees sway faintly as night falls steadily all around. Lanterns are lit slowly, casting tender pools of amber light. A dog rests near the door, breathing steady and calm. We now drift toward a shepherd's tent beneath a wide, open sky. Inside, woven rugs and blankets create a warm, steady nest. Hands fold gently over woolen fabric, soft with evening chill. Stars begin to twinkle faintly through an open flap. A shepherd hums a calm melody to the sleeping flock. The fire outside crackles low, wrapping the world in quiet. Gentle wind carries the scent of pine and distant earth. Morning will come slowly, touching the tent with soft gold light. We move now to a small artisan's workshop filled with delicate tools. Hands carve slowly, coaxing sculpture from smooth blocks of stone. The room smells faintly of dust and warm wood. Light shifts steadily through narrow windows as work continues softly. The artist pauses, breathing deeply in the still calm. Outside, leaves fall silently, adornments for this peaceful place. Tools rest quietly on tables worn by years of use. A gentle rhythm hums as small chips fall with care. We drift now toward the fading glow of a humble vineyard. Grape leaves shimmer with soft dew in the calm, cool air. Workers move slowly between rows, gathering clusters with steady hands. The soil feels warm beneath feet touched by fading sun. Nets lie folded near, ready for the harvest's gentle call. A quiet breeze carries the faint fragrance of ripened fruit. Voices mix softly with evening sounds of crickets and wind. Lantern light spills over empty barrels, waiting patiently for juice. The vineyard breathes peace under the slow, steady fading light. We now glide into a cottage garden where melodies are tenderly sung. Bird song stirs the air like a soft caress. A woman waters herbs with slow, thoughtful motions. Petals tremble with early evening's calm breath. A child sniffs a flower, eyes wide and steady. Bees drift lazily, stepping delicately across blossoms. The sun sets faintly, painting petals with gold and rose hues. A gentle dog watches from cool shade beneath a tree. The garden hums with peaceful life, wrapped in calm light. We drift now to the warm kitchen of a far-off farmstead. Loaves rise gently in oaken bowls on smooth wooden tables. A woman pours honey with slow, loving care into a cup. The fire's amber glow wraps all in steady, tender warmth. Honeybee wings hum softly outside a window left open to dusk. Outside, barn animals settle with soft breaths and slow movements. A child's laughter bubbles low and mellow near a small hearth. Fresh milk sits cool in a ceramic jug on the floor. The kitchen holds a gentle quiet, rich with soft aromas. We move now toward the soft pace of a quiet orchard walk. Leaves brush calmly against fingers traced with loving care. A breeze carries the faint sweetness of ripened pears in air. Sun dapples gently through a canopy of stoic branches. Slow footsteps pass beneath boughs heavy with tender fruits. Each breath fills softly with the serene scent of earth. Around, crickets sing low, steady songs as evening draws near. A basket swings softly, brimming with gathered harvest. The world feels wrapped in a calm, embracing shawl of peace. We drift now to the cozy corner of an ancient tavern. Firelight flickers warmly on faces drawn with calm smiles. Wooden tables hold cups shaped by thoughtful hands. The air hums gently with low voices and steady laughter. Outside, dusk colors merge softly, painting the world with tender hues. A dog lies quietly near a hearth well warmed by steady fire. Friends share slow stories filled with gentle, familiar kindness. The tavern holds the night gently, soft as a well-worn cloak. We move toward the first dim glow of a morning market. Tent flaps flutter faintly in the cool dawn's gentle breath. Vendors arrange fruits and vegetables with slow, steady care. Fresh herbs, bundled tightly, rest on simple wooden stands. Flour dust floats above pressed cakes resting on low shelves. Quiet chatter begins, tender as light filtering through soft mist. A woman smiles softly, handing a basket filled with eggs. Dew glistens faintly on leafy greens, wrapped in cool calm. Baskets creak gently as they fill with the market's quiet abundance. The new day unfolds with steady, patient light and calm. We drift now toward an evening by a calm mountain stream. Water tumbles quietly over round stones worn smooth by time. Ferns lean in gently beside mossy banks, holding the earth. A man sits cross-legged, fishing with steady, patient hands. The twilight sky deepens in hues of soft indigo and violet. Crickets chirp faintly, blending with the stream's constant whisper. Leaves float slowly on water, touched by fading light. A lantern swings gently from a nearby tree branch. The world breathes softly here, slowed by tender nature's pace. We move gently to the inner quiet of a stone temple. Monks move softly across mosaic floors with steady, mindful steps. Books rest open, their pages touched by calm, deliberate eyes. The scent of sandalwood wanders on the cool, hushed air. Prayer beads slip slowly through fingers, tracing steady, peaceful rhythms. A fountain bubbles faintly, surrounded by waning candlelight. The silence here folds like a warm, gentle blanket. Outside, olive trees sway with a steady, inviting grace. We drift now to a quiet road winding under wide skies. Dust settles gently with each passing cart and wandering traveler. Fields stretch softly green beneath a calm, pale sun. Slow horses tread steady hooves on familiar, winding paths. A traveler pauses to sip water from a handmade clay cup. Cicadas hum faintly in the distant trees bordering the lane. A passing breeze carries the faint smell of fresh earth. The road holds promise of gentle endings, slow embraces. We move toward the still mornings, inside a quiet weaving hut. Shuttles glide softly through intricate threads, binding fabrics with care. Sunlight filters faintly through window slats, illuminating fine patterns. A weaver's hands work steady, crafting cloaks for village kin. The scent of dyed cotton rises warmly with familiar ease. A small child plays quietly near piles of finished cloth. The room hums tenderly with age-old rhythms and calm skill. Outside, hummingbirds dart softly amid blooming wildflowers close by. We drift now to the tender light of a fisherman's dawn. Boats rest quietly on sand, their hulls wet with sea's caress. A man adjusts sails with slow, precise movements born from habit. Early fog laces the air, holding the shore in faint mystery. Dawn breaks steadily with soft pinks and quiet golds. Nets dry slowly on wooden racks, catching the gentle breeze. Seashells line the shore, washed smooth by steady tides. The fisherman breathes deeply, embracing calm daybreak and steady work. We glide softly toward a distant hilltop where watchful olive trees stand. Leaves shimmer faintly in golden light, steady and assured. The earth feels firm beneath slow footsteps winding among gnarled trunks. A bench rests quietly beneath the trees, bathed in mellow warmth. Wildflowers nod gently where grasses sway in easy patterns. The scent of orange blossoms drifts softly from nearby groves. Birds call far off, their notes light and steady companions. The hilltop holds stillness like a quiet sanctuary, tender and deep. We now move toward the evening muted hum of a village inn. Lanterns cast warm circles of light on cobbled streets. Families gather inside, voices low and soothing as twilight deepens. Smoke rises in faint threads through chimneys against the darkening sky. Wooden beams creak quietly under the weight of age and time. The innkeeper cleans slowly, polishing surfaces with steady, patient hands. Outside, stars begin to twinkle softly, gentle eyes watching over all. The night wraps the village in calm, steady comfort. A cat winds along doorsteps, silent in its tender prowl. We drift now to the simple joy of a late harvest meal. Long wooden tables bear humble dishes, bright with natural color. Friends break bread slowly, savoring tastes born of earth and sun. Candles flicker gently, painting faces with warm, mellow glow. Laughter rises low and calm, like wind through open fields. A child reaches shyly for sweet figs, eyes wide and steady. The meal flows gently, rich with stories and soft smiles. Outside, Crickets begin their faint, steady serenade as night deepens. We move now toward the serene quiet of a mountain village. Stone cottages rest peacefully beneath a vaulted, fading sky. Smoke curls faintly from chimneys into crisp, calm evening air. Footsteps fall gently on packed earth paths, winding between homes. A woman pulls a shawl tighter, feeling the steady cool. Stars appear slowly above, like quiet promises in dark velvet. Lanterns glow warmly, lighting faces drawn with slow, peaceful smiles.
Dogs and goats settle near doors, breathing calm in the stillness.
The village exhales a steady hush, wrapped in quiet peace. We drift now toward the delicate artistry of a shell-crafted home. Walls hold glimmers of sun and sea, calm as the tide. Soft sand floors cradle bare feet warmed by gentle sunlight. A woman paints slow patterns onto pottery with tender strokes. Seashell chimes tinkle faintly as a breeze slips through open windows. Her children play quietly in the shaded front courtyard, laughter low. The rhythm of daily life moves steady here, soft and sure. Outside, palm leaves sway lightly, casting cool, intricate shadows. We move now to a slow afternoon in a papyrus workshop. Reeds lie neatly bundled, waiting to be pressed and made smooth. Hands carefully bind thin stalks, crafting pages for quiet words. The sun warms the air with steady, embracing light. A scribe pauses, gazing softly across work half complete. In the corner, a small fire flickers with faint amber light. Scrolls dry slowly on woven mats spread beneath gentle beams. The workshop hums gently with quiet diligence and tender care. We glide toward the cool stillness of an underground granary. Stone walls hold steady, cool as ancient secrets. Grain spills slowly from bags, settling in soft, audible heaps. A worker moves quietly, brushing dust with careful, even strokes. Faint traces of earth and time mingle in the mellow dark. Lanterns glow faintly, lighting faces marked with calm purpose. Outside, night deepens to a steady, endless hush. We now drift toward the quiet life of a hilltop vineyard. Vines climb steadily, their grapes heavy with slow, patient growth. A woman plucks fruit with gentle hands warmed by the sun. Leaves rustle faintly in a soft, teasing breeze. Baskets fill with mellow clusters, their weight a tender promise. Shadows stretch long over soft rolling hills, clad in green. The air is fragrant with earth and fading flower scents. A nearby spring babbles softly, a steady lullaby for the earth. We move gently toward a kitchen where soft hands prepare simple fare. Chopped herbs scatter slowly across wooden boards, smooth with endless use. A pot simmers low, releasing warm aromas into the calm room. Bread dough rises in a gentle swell, wrapped in cloth. Children gather quietly at the table, eyes bright with steady hunger. The fire casts flickering light that dances gently on warm walls. Outside, twilight slips softly over gardens and sleeping fields. The family settles down to eat. Voices a tender murmur.
We drift now toward the rhythmic hum of a quiet shipyard.
Wooden beams rise slowly, shaped by hands skilled and steady. Carpenters move with calm, sure steps across sandy shores. The salt air is thick yet gentle, filled with quiet industry. Nails tap softly into hulls that will soon meet the calm sea. Sails are woven with tender care, threads crossing in steady patterns. Buckets of tar rest still beside ropes coiled like calm rivers. The sun warms the sand beneath steady, deliberate feet. A child watches silently, learning through quiet observation. Evening cools the air, wrapping the shipyard in peaceful shadows. We move now to a small stonemason's workshop, cloaked in day's end. Chisels rest gently beside fine shards of chipped marble. Dust settles softly on sturdy wooden benches and polished tools. The stonemason traces a faint design with steady, tender focus. Outside, olive branches bend slowly in a calm, fading breeze. The sunset spills warm light across rough, solid walls. Quiet footsteps cross the courtyard, blending with distant bird calls. A cat sits patiently near weathered steps, eyes half closed and calm. The day's work slows, folding into the steady hush of twilight. We drift now toward the gentle rustle of a linen market. Fabrics flutter softly near open stalls under pale sunlight. Spools of thread lie tangled in lazy, tender coils. Hands fold sheets of cloth with slow, practiced care. The scent of herbs and beeswax lingers faintly in the air. Baskets brim gently with fresh vegetables, their colors muted and warm. Shoppers move quietly, speaking in soft, steady tones. Children skip softly between legs, their laughter a background melody. The market breathes a calm spirit, steady and inviting. We move now to a hillside garden, stirred by evening light. Flowers close gently as shadows stretch long into calm soil. A gardener tends slowly, brushing petals with fingertips. The scent of jasmine rises softly, mingling with warm earth. Faint buzzing of bees fades into the stillness as day ends. Stars peek faintly through deepening indigo skies overhead. A cool breeze drifts past, carrying distant lullabies of night. The garden folds into itself, wrapped in steady, tender dusk. We drift now toward a quiet fireside where stories are shared slowly. Voices soften into whispers as embers glow warmly. Hands pass gently among cups filled with herbal infusions. The flicker of flames dances slowly across familiar faces. Eyes grow heavy beneath soft blankets on well-worn benches. Outside, the world rests beneath a calm and watchful moon. The night deepens with steady breath, a tender pause in time. And so, the quiet rhythms of history slowly continue through time. May your dreams wander gently through ancient, peaceful days. Rest well beneath the calm stars that watched those tranquil lives. Thank you for listening, and have a peaceful night.